Well, hey there, everybody. This is Mary Alice Duncan, and hopefully your screen is starting to look a little less strange now. I want to welcome all of you tonight. This is a live broadcast, unless you're watching it in replay on YouTube. So you never know what's going to happen. There could be a 10-year-old run through the kitchen. There could be a yellow lab or a chihuahua or my husband run through the kitchen. You just never know. But we're going to pray that there are no interruptions or distractions tonight. But I will tell you that when you're recording live, you never know what you're going to get. So I go ahead and apologize in advance to you for anything that might kind of disrupt us this evening. So really am excited to be here tonight. My name again is Mary Alice Duncan. My husband is Philip, and we have been a part of AdvoCare for a little over 3 years, and life looks very different today than it did 3 years ago, and we could not be more overjoyed to be a part of this incredible company, to have achieved results from these amazing products, and to be able to have this platform to share with all of you the life change that we have experienced, but even more than that, what this can mean for you. And so that's really what I want you to listen for tonight as I move through the presentation. is what can AdvoCare mean for you? You're going to hear some amazing stories. You're going to see some amazing things, and that's all fine and good, but it really doesn't mean a whole lot if you don't see yourself fitting into the picture. So listen with one ear tuned for you and one ear tuned for the people in your life who need to hear a similar message of hope. So what I believe to be very true about our country today is that we are all living with debt. There are three major types of debt, and that would be physical debt with our health, either with obesity or exhaustion, or any number of health issues that we're experiencing today. Financial debt, and that speaks for itself, right? And then there's time debt, and I think that might be the most offensive and the most prevalent debt that we have. We're really short on time. We're busy people, and so we end up usually sacrificing the things that we love in favor of the things that we have to do, not because we want to do that, but because we really don't feel like we have any other choice. And so I really want to share with you tonight AdvoCare as a solution to the debt in your life, whether it's one type or all three types. And I want to show you how your yes to this vehicle called AdvoCare can take you as far and as fast as you want to go. And so as we begin, I want to introduce you to the average American family. They make about $43,000 a year, but they can't manage to pay off a $2,200 credit card balance. They own their own home. It's worth about $160,000, but they owe $95,000 on it to the bank. They have about $3,800 in the bank on a good day, right? They don't have retirement accounts. I'd be willing to bet that sweet little girl right there does not have a college fund, which tells me one thing and one thing only, that she more than likely is going to repeat the cycle that her parents have likely repeated, only it's probably going to be a little bit worse. If you look at the bottom, you'll see that 82% of all Americans hate what they do. Over 60% of working Americans drop a child off at daycare every day, not because they want to do that, but because they feel that they have no other choice. We have 66% of all adult Americans being overweight. We're spending billions of dollars that we don't have in the wellness industry because we need a solution. We're wiped out, right? We're going to jobs where they're paying us just enough so that we don't quit, and we're working just hard enough so that we don't get fired. And when we get home in the evening to that house that we can't afford, we're giving our leftovers to the people that we love the most. And it's normal, but it certainly doesn't sound like the average American dream. And so that's why my opinion is, if that's normal, I don't want to be normal. And so, guys, that's why every 6 seconds someone starts a home-based business. And my job tonight is to show you why AdvoCare. And so this is me. This is my story. This is what life looked like for me before AdvoCare found me. I was extremely obese, morbidly obese. My doctor had told me that if I didn't make a change that, I was looking at an early death. I was suffering from a lot of obesity related complications. It was very difficult for me to get off the couch. My husband, Philip, was carrying around extra weight that he didn't need to carry. He was also carrying around a heaviness and a sadness, because it's hard to watch someone that you love, be in the condition that I was in. Our sweet little boy, Jack, he was 6 years old when he looked me in the eye and said, "Mom, if you don't do something, you're going to die." And that was my wake-up call. And that was before AdvoCare. I did some exercise, and I lost a little bit of weight on my own. But life was very, very, very difficult before AdvoCare. We were financially strapped. We were college educated. You would have never thought, at least I wouldn't have thought, that life was going to turn out the way it had turned out for us. Philip owned his own real estate company and had done very well for 2 years. And then when the market crashed, so did our business, and we found ourselves in foreclosure, less than 60 days away from losing our house. And life was just really difficult for us. And so, after AdvoCare, life looks very different. 120 pounds gone from my body, over 30 pounds gone from Philip's body. We feel better than we ever thought we could feel. We're seeing the world together. We have friendships and relationships that are based on mutual respect and trust. And we have discovered the beauty and the amazing life of financial freedom, but more than that, time freedom. We're a work from home family. We're home with our little boy every day. We get to spend every minute of every day together if that's what we choose to do. And all of that is a result of our yes to AdvoCare. And so as we move through the presentation tonight, you're going to hear more about our story and how we used AdvoCare to gain the life that we'd always dreamed about. We didn't just say, "Oh, AdvoCare," and it happened, but we have been able to use this incredible vehicle to build a life that we have always dreamed about. And so who is AdvoCare and what do we do? You see, AdvoCare is a world-class nutrition company. We were founded 21 years ago in Plano, Texas. We have over 70 different nutritional products in our line. We have over 250 years of science behind our products, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. And we have hundreds of non-paid professional and Olympic sports endorsers. It's very, very simple what we do in AdvoCare, and that is we help people in two key areas. And these are the two areas, if you ask most people, the two areas that they struggle the most in, it's health and finances, and that is all we do. And we do that because of this man right here. This is Charlie Regis, our founder. You see, Charlie was a visionary, and I love that because that's what I am too. And so Charlie, he spoke my language. Charlie knew that he wanted to create the world's finest nutritional products. See, he had been an athlete, so he understood nutrition and how important nutrition was. And he knew that he wanted to use the direct selling model to distribute those products. Charlie knew that he didn't want his products on the shelves with product X, Y, and Z. Charlie wanted his products only to be available by a distributor. And the reason for that is because, well, A, he knew that nobody from the store that was going to call you and follow up and see how you were doing on those products and make sure you're getting the results you wanted. But Charlie also knew that if he could help a person get phenomenal results, that person was going to look like hope to their community. And when that person looks like hope, then lives begin to change. And that's the reason that we are direct sales by design. This is a relationship business. And Charlie also knew that direct sales was the best way to provide an opportunity for ordinary people to do something extraordinary with their life. And you're going to see that tonight. Charlie also had some guiding principles, and they're not on this particular slide, but when my husband and I saw the guiding principles of AdvoCare, and we learned that those were the highest truths that Charlie held himself to, that they were standards that he had written down on a napkin and said, if I build this company, these are the standards upon which I'm going to build it. And the number one guiding principle of AdvoCare is to honor God through our faith, family, and friends. And that is something that we knew we could get behind if this company was built on that level of integrity. And that's what we found to be very true when we started 3 years ago today, and it's still true now. But you see, Charlie was a visionary. I told you that. But when you're a visionary, you might not always have, all of the answers. And so Charlie knew that he had to surround himself with the best of the best of the best in medicine and nutrition and science and research and kinesiology and sports performance. And so this is our scientific and medical advisory board. These men and women are a who's who in their respective fields, and they are the ones who put their reputations on the line every single day to formulate our products and to stand behind our products. Dr. Stanley Dudrick is one of my very favorite doctors to speak about because Dr. Dudrick is the man who actually invented intravenous feeding. Are you kidding me? He did. TPN, total parental nutrition. He didn't invent the IV, but he did invent the technology that allowed us to receive nutrition through the IV. And so Dr. Dudrick is actually credited with saving the lives of tens of millions of premature babies. And that's huge, you guys. He's knighted in 3 countries. The surgery center at Yale University is named after him. And he puts that reputation on the line every single day for AdvoCare. That speaks volumes to me. The other thing that speaks volumes to me is that little green check mark that you see there in the top right-hand side of your screen. That is informed choice. You see, the FDA, they do regulate the supplement industry, but they do not require that supplement companies test their products. AdvoCare chooses to test their products because it's important to us that we know that our products are banned substance-free, toxin-free, contaminant-free, and that our products also contain the highest quality and concentration of all active ingredients. Now that is important to me as a mama, okay, because my little boy, who's now 10, takes these products every day. But this is even more important to Drew Brees, because Drew Brees, he counts on his body to perform, right? He gets paid to perform, and he cannot afford to put a subpar product in his body. He can't afford to test positive for a banned substance. And so that's why Drew Brees trusts AdvoCare, because our products are safe, because our products are effective. That's why Drew Brees is our national spokesperson, and why he chose to develop his own line, the DB9 of products, with AdvoCare. This is just a sampling of the hundreds of non-cash paid endorsers that AdvoCare has. We pay our endorsers with product. So they put their name and their face and their reputation with AdvoCare for more products. That, again, is amazing to me. These are men and women who are, they rely on their bodies for their livelihood, and they choose to fuel their body with AdvoCare. You're also going to see some of our sponsorships, the Texas Bowl, the AdvoCare 500, and then we also are the jersey sponsor of the FC Dallas soccer team. Now, how many of you have ever been to a restaurant? Okay, I love to go out to eat with my family, and every time we go out to eat, we sit down at the table. They hand us a menu, okay? And 9 times out of 10, if we have chosen the right restaurant, everything on the menu looks great. And AdvoCare is no different. Everything on this menu looks fantastic, but you're going to make a selection based upon how hungry you are, okay? Now, there's also a 5th relationship that's not shown here on the screen, and that is, no thank you, this is not for me, or this is not my time, and I want you to know that that's okay. You have full permission to say that this isn't your time, but if it is, these are the 4 relationships that you have to choose from, and you're going to choose based upon your hunger level, okay? Number 1 is a retail customer. This means you're purchasing your product at full retail cost from the person who's helping you. Number 2 is a wholesale customer. This is, this was my jam when I started. I said, okay, I know I'm not buying full retail, so tell me how I can get a discount. I'm the girl that goes into Target and goes straight for the clearance rack before I look at the new stuff. This just means that you have signed up with the person who's helping you for a $79 membership fee. That immediately gets you your own website. It gets you $60 in free product that comes in a kit, and it also gets you anywhere from a 20 to a 30% discount based upon the size of your order. Now, by default, when you become a wholesale customer, you have the right but not the obligation to distribute AdvoCare's products. Now, a strange thing happens when you start taking AdvoCare products. You start feeling great, you start losing weight, your pants start to kind of sag a little bit, you have to tighten the belt, your skin clears up. You're sleeping better, so you're in a better mood, you're on time, and people notice and they want to know what you're doing. Well, you have the right, but not the obligation to tell them. Now, why in the world you'd keep that a secret, I don't know, but you can share AdvoCare and make a little bit of money as a distributor. You're going to earn income two different ways as a distributor, and we're going to talk about that more as we get towards the end of the presentation. But number 4 is a business advisor. This is someone who says, I'm going to be on these products for life. I want the highest possible discount. This is someone who says, I'm not spending more than I have to. I at least understand that much. This is also the person who says, I see this as a business and I'm going to be very intentional with this as a business. And so what you find as a business advisor is that very part-time hours can generate beyond a full-time income. Okay, when you become a business advisor, you open up 5 streams of income, and we're going to talk about that as well as we get towards the end of the presentation. Know this as we're moving through and you're listening to these stories. Every story you're going to hear tonight is someone at the advisor level. The only difference between distributor and advisor as far as job description is, well, there is no difference. You take the products, you talk to people, you invite them to hear more from the person who's helping you. The only difference is the way you're compensated. As a distributor, you're compensated 2 ways, and as an advisor, you are compensated 5. So we'll clarify that a little bit deeper into the presentation tonight. Right now, I want to stop and talk to you about the products, because what I've tried to do so far is kind of layer for you some credibility about the company. I don't know about you, but you know, I'm not too excited about putting something in my body if I don't really know where it came from. And so I hope I've laid some credibility and some groundwork for you there as far as why you can trust our products. AdvoCare has the most elite level nutritional supplementation products on the market today, and the most popular product that we have is our 24-day challenge. Our 24-day challenge is a synergistic program. These products work together. They do a couple things. They're going to give you fast results. We live in an instant gratification society, and we want to see results. Now, what this is not is a magic pill or a quick fix, but this is going to allow you to see results so that you'll be motivated to move forward. This is also a program that for the first 10 days is going to gently cleanse and detox your system. When you are on the 24-day challenge, you eat. And you eat a lot, and you eat the entire time you're cleansing, okay? Can I get an amen? We want to eat while we're cleansing. And so the products that you take while you're cleansing are there in the green box, the Herbal Cleanse box. There is a fiber drink, some probiotics, some Herbal Cleanse tablets that you take before you go to bed at night. The Omegaplex you take, that's going to go in and reduce inflammation in your digestive system. It's going to repair damage that might have been done over the years. You're also going to drink Spark every day. Hallelujah. Spark is 3 to 5 hours of mental focus and energy. The entire time you're doing this, you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, but you're eating very lean and very clean. And we're going to help you with that. We're going to coach you through your food choices as well as how and when to take your product. Now, once your body has been gently detoxed and it's ready to then properly absorb nutrition, that's when we begin to supplement and put the nutrition in. The boxes that you see on the far right-hand side of your screen are the M&S, or the Metabolic Nutrition System. This is a strip pack of vitamins that's going to fill in all the gaps in your nutrition and going to give your body everything that it needs to function at its peak level. This is rocket fuel for the human body. I tell you what, I can't imagine going a day without my M&S. And there are 3 different formulas. There is a 3 formula for wellness, a C formula for appetite control, and an E formula for energy. All right. Now you're also going to have a meal replacement shake on the second half of your 24-day challenge. This is 24 grams of carbs, 24 grams of pre-digested protein. It is the perfect way to start the day. Okay. When you wake up in the morning, your body is looking for fuel. It is specifically looking for protein. So it's imperative that you give your body protein within an hour of waking. And so this meal replacement shake is excellent for that. Now, there are some add-on products that you can add to your 24-day challenge. This is going to enhance your results, okay? The first one there is Catalyst. Catalyst is a branched chain amino acid. It's going to protect your lean muscle tissue and force the body to burn stored body fat. It is one of my favorite products. Then there's ThermoPlus, which is a thermogenic. It's going to help you to metabolize fat more efficiently. And then there's Carb Ease. Carb Ease is a phenomenal product that you can take before your largest, carb-filled meal, and it's going to help your body to process those carbs more efficiently. The 24-day challenge, again, is not a weight loss program per se. What it is a wellness kickstart. So whether you need to lose 100 pounds or whether you weigh 100 pounds, the 24-day challenge is an excellent place for you to get started on products. This is my sweet friend Angie Perry, who lives in Auburn, and her husband Brad. And when I met Angie, she was obese, just like I had been, and she desperately needed to lose weight. You see, the day I met Angie, her husband had been deployed that morning. And so Angie was looking at the next year as essentially a single mom who needed to be at her best. She needed to be able to chase her kids. She needed to be able to do the work of both mom and dad while Brad was serving our country. And so Angie got started on the 24-day challenge. And I'm going to let you look on the right-hand side to see her current stats because, yeah, she got started and she had phenomenal results. But she's been on products now for quite some time. Is down 70 pounds from a size 22 and 8. She's now a certified body pump instructor. She's earning $300 a month just sharing casually these products. But the biggest thing, and the thing that means the most to me, is that when her husband Brad came home and he got off that plane, he was looking right at her across the field and didn't recognize his own wife because the transformation was so incredible. And so that kiss that you see there at the bottom of the screen is when he saw her and realized who she was for the first time. And Angie will tell you that Brad, while he was away serving his country, she was at home doing the work of changing her own life, transforming herself so that he could come home to a brand new and improved wife. And then there's our performance line. And I know that Angie has incorporated our Performance Elite line. I know that I have as well. But what I love about our Performance Elite line is that this is the same product line that Drew Brees uses, that Rich Froning uses, that so many incredible athletes use, and they make it available to the average mom and pop, just like us, right? And so this is the best possible way that you can fuel your workout. What you'll see here is the Performance Elite timeline. So based upon the type of workout that you're doing, based upon the duration of your workout, we're going to help you learn how to properly fuel your workout so that not only are you getting the most out of it, but you're going to recover faster, right? So that you can get back out there and do it all over again. So these products are going to greatly enhance your results when it comes to fitness. Now, AdvoCare also has a workout DVD. This is our Can You 24 workout series. We have a level 1. We also have a level 2. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people think, wow, it's just 24 minutes. Are you sure? Never in my life have I been challenged by a workout like I have been by the Can You 24 workouts. They cram a lot into 24 minutes, but this is so incredible for those people who are busy, who have a busy lifestyle, who don't have time to get to the gym, the mom who doesn't want to drag her child to the playroom at the gym, during cold and flu season. Maybe they want to stay in and work out, but make sure they get that incredible workout in. Can You 24 is a perfect solution to that, and it is a perfect partner to the products as well. Oh, and check this out.
It takes hard work, dedication, and commitment. Professional and world-class athletes use AdvoCare products. Why? Because they work. Scientifically formulated, independently tested, and proven to give us the results that we're looking for to compete at a championship level. Are you looking for results? AdvoCare. Use it. The pros do.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but if Rich Froning, 3-time world's fittest man, 3-time CrossFit Games champion, uses AdvoCare. I think that says just about all we need to know. And it's neat because Rich has actually been on AdvoCare products for 3 years. So no coincidence there, I'm sure. But this is actually my dear friend Whitney Gladden. Whitney is a diamond distributor in AdvoCare. She's a former lawyer, and because of the AdvoCare opportunity was able to walk away from her law career to come home and be a full-time mommy. And when you have a lot of extra time on your hands, you get to kind of do some things that maybe you couldn't do before. And one of the things that Whitney had always wanted to do was to be super fit. She had kind of always had in the back of her mind that maybe she wanted to compete. And so Whitney began to take our performance line. She's actually one of the featured instructors in our Can You 24 DVD, and she began to work out. And what you see here from skinny mom to fit mom is a 4-month transformation. And Whitney actually just entered into her first competition and placed in the top 10 in the fitness model category. So not bad for are you ready for this? 37-year-old mom. Okay, 37 years old, looks like she's in her early 20s, completely and amazingly fit thanks to great nutrition and amazing AdvoCare supplementation. And so, guys, I hope you see here that there's a theme that runs throughout AdvoCare, and that is that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And whether that looks like a physical transformation for you, maybe that's what you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for weight loss. Maybe you just don't want to fall over in your food at the end of the day because you're so tired. Maybe you desperately have another health need, or maybe it's $500 a month. You just need a vehicle that will allow you to get paid what you're worth. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe you have dreams and visions of funding a ministry or adopting children or traveling the world, and those are things that your current level of income will not allow you to do. Whatever that is, whatever that extraordinary thing is in your life, I want you to see AdvoCare can be a vehicle for that, okay? So we've talked about how the products work, and hopefully I've shown you some great stories and some great examples. And so now I want to show you that the opportunity works, okay? I told you guys earlier that when you become a business advisor, we get paid 5 ways. And I want to break that down for you a little bit so you'll understand why people are able to do such extraordinary things in AdvoCare. The 2 ways that we get paid both as a distributor and an advisor are retail profits and wholesale commissions. That just means that when you share product with someone, if they buy it from you retail, then you're going to make a retail profit from that based on the size discount that you have. So if you have a 20% commission or 20% discount and somebody buys retail from you, you're going to make a 20% profit on that. If you have a 40% discount as an advisor, you're going to make a 40% profit. Okay? Now if somebody signs up with you for a wholesale discount and you have a 30% discount and they sign up for a 20, you're going to make a 10% wholesale earning. You're going to make the difference between your discount, which is why it always behooves people to reach that 40% discount so that they can maximize their retail and their wholesale earnings. But it really gets good when we get down into the last 3 ways that we get paid: the incentives, the bonuses. The override and leadership bonus portion of AdvoCare is a residual form of income. And why that's important, let me explain to you why that's important. When I worked a job, I only got paid one way, and I only got paid if I showed up. Well, I just need you guys to know right now, just full transparency, I am in my pajamas with no makeup and a ponytail, which is part of the reason why there was no camera happening tonight on this webinar. But that, that's the day I've had today. And the good news is that I'm getting paid right now, because I guarantee you that there's someone somewhere in our business who has decided that they are out of spark and they need to place an order. We get paid while we sleep. We're getting paid right now for conversations we had 2 years ago, and we'll be getting paid in 5 to 10 years for conversations that we had today. That's the beauty of an override and a leadership, right? That's the residual portion of our business. Now, the other good piece of the residual income is that it is willable. Okay, when my husband was in real estate, he did not get paid for houses that he did not sell, and our son certainly wasn't going to get paid if something had happened to Philip. But the good news about AdvoCare is that if something were to happen to us, our business is willable to our son, and he will continue to get paid. That is amazing, guys. I don't know where else you can go and have an opportunity like that. Now, when we talk about the incentives in AdvoCare, one of my favorite incentives is the $500 rookie bonus program. This is strategically and specially set up for the brand new advisor. When you become an advisor in AdvoCare, you have 3 pay periods, which is about 6 weeks, to go out and do something extraordinary. Okay? Basically, what you need to do is recruit 3 new distributors. And I actually prefer the word sponsor, because recruiting implies that you're just signing people up, and sponsoring is implying that you're going to walk with them through the journey, and that's really what we do in AdvoCare. So you're going to sponsor 3 new distributors, and through those 3 distributors, we're going to generate $3,000 of volume. Okay, now I'll tell you right now, my goal every single pay period is $3,000 in volume. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by that. But when you're a brand new person in AdvoCare and you're excited and you're telling everybody you know about the 24-day challenge, it is not going to be that difficult for you to earn a rookie bonus. That's amazing. Right out of the gate, $500 in your pocket, and also that has just now set you up to go out and have the blueprint to build a business that's paying you on average between $40,000 and $80,000 per year. Guys, that's extraordinary. Absolutely amazing. Now, one of the other incentives that we have in AdvoCare are the trips. And everybody always thinks that we take trips in AdvoCare simply because, you know, the places are beautiful, and that's part of it. But the other part of the trips that I love is that Charlie Regis knew that if he could take someone out of their environment, which is probably negative, right? We all live in a place where, or work in a place that's negative. You know, people are complaining about their spouse or the weather or the traffic or their kids or the break room, whatever. If he could take you out of that and put you somewhere beautiful, but not only somewhere beautiful, but with people who are the best of the best of the best at speaking life and speaking hope, that not only could he transform your way of thinking, but then he could sit you back in your environment and you could impact your environment. That was Charlie's vision for these trips, and I'm telling you, it's the truth. You see, when we first began in AdvoCare, oh, and by the way, let me go back. This is our next trip. To Costa Rica. I feel like I need to go ahead and let you guys know that. The Costa Rica incentive is coming up in December. We're going to take a cruise through the Panama Canal. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But this was my very first trip with AdvoCare. We, 6 months into our business, we decided that we were going to do something great. When we first started, we saw this trip being announced. We were 10 days old in AdvoCare when they announced the Atlantis incentive, and my husband and I had never been on a trip before that my in-laws hadn't paid for. And so we decided that we were going to earn this trip. We were going to do what it took to earn the trip. And so we knew that it was a family incentive and how much this would mean to our son. And so we put our heads down and we went out and we earned the Atlantis trip 6 months in to our AdvoCare journey. And it did. It changed our perspective. It changed our son's perspective. Never in a million years would I have thought that we would have been in foreclosure, and 6 months later, on an all-expenses-paid trip to Atlantis that literally changed our life. A year ago, right now, according to my Time Hop app, a year ago I was right here. So I'm feeling a little emotional about this photograph, but this was the incentive trip to Honolulu Bay in Hawaii, and this is us with some of our friends on a sunset catamaran cruise around the Nepali coast. And our captain told us that evening that less than 2% of the people in the world will see what we saw with their own 2 eyes. Most of the world will see it only through photographs. And I'm telling you right now, I can see it just as plain as if I was there. And that's what AdvoCare is about. It's about giving you experiences and opportunities that you would not have otherwise. It's about rewarding you for being extraordinary and for making a difference in other people's lives. You see, when I graduated from college, I had a degree in social work. So I'm not a person who's motivated by money. I really wanted to change the world, and I wanted to change the world one person at a time. So when I graduated college, I took a job with the YMCA in the inner city working as a youth counselor. I made $21,000 per year. Had to wear a pager 24/7. It didn't matter if I worked 24 hours a day or 8 hours a day or anywhere in between. It didn't matter if I sat behind my desk or if I, had a gun pulled on me or got vomited on or threatened to, get punched, whatever, because it all happened. $21,000 a year is what I was bringing home. Okay? Now, when I saw this chart in AdvoCare, I said, so you mean to tell me that if I'll go out and help other people get what they want in life, that I can earn a silver leadership level and bring home $1,000 a month? And my mentor said, well, yeah, you can do that. You can actually do that pretty quickly. And so we went to work, and within a matter of weeks, we had reached the silver level of leadership. You see, in 2 weeks in AdvoCare, we made $1,500, which got our house out of foreclosure. So I knew if I could do that, I could consistently earn $1,000 a month. Within a year, we had reached the 3-star gold level. That was enough income that allowed my husband to keep his head above water while the market recovered, or while it tried to recover, right? Within the next year, Ruby 6-star. And that allowed my husband to retire from his real estate job to come home to be a full-time daddy. By the end of the next year, Emerald 9-star. We get to do a lot of things now that we didn't get to do before. We just went into qualification for the diamond level, which has expanded our dreams and expanded our vision even more. The crazy thing is, you guys, is that our last check in AdvoCare for 3 weeks worth of work was $2,000 short of what I used to make in a year as a social worker. Now, that may sound crazy. I understand. It would have sounded crazy to me 3 years ago if I had allowed myself to dream this big. But what that kind of income does for a family is it does allow you to dream. It does allow you to take the lid off, not only for yourself, but for other people that you are striving to help. You see, my husband and I had buried a lot of dreams. And one of the dreams that we had buried along the way was a dream of a big family. My health was such that it wasn't really safe for me to become pregnant again, and adoption was always out of the picture because it's so expensive. And then we met our boys. And those little feet that you see there at the bottom, those are our 3 sons, Emery, Crispin, and Philippe. And they live in an orphanage in the Congo. And they're coming home in 2014. And they're coming home to a mom and a dad who can afford any therapy, any medical treatment, can afford for them to go to college and have the best options in life, all because we said yes to an out-of-the-box, not looking for it, said I'd never do it, opportunity. And that opportunity has literally changed everything for us. This is Phil and Melanie Thomason, some of our dearest friends. They live in Helena, Alabama. And Phil and Melanie began their AdvoCare journey at one of the busiest possible seasons in their life. It didn't make sense for them to begin their AdvoCare journey when they did, but they needed to get out of debt. And so I'm going to let Phil and Melanie tell you their story.
Hi, I'm Melanie Thomason. This is my husband Phil, and we live in Helena, Alabama. About 14 months ago, we were looking to make a change, and we found AdvoCare. We had watched our friends lose a bunch of weight, make some money, and so we wanted what they had. The reality of our life was that we have 2 small children. I work full-time as a high school counselor. My husband owns his own cleaning company. I was in graduate school full-time. We didn't have any time, but the mountain of debt was screaming at us, and we were tired of pouring into everyone else and giving our hard-earned money to other people instead of investing into our family and paying down debt. So we got involved in AdvoCare for help and also for financial reasons, because really we just needed to make a change with that, and we wanted to invest more into our family and our kids and give them not just our leftovers but our best.
And because of that, yes, to AdvoCare, we both feel much better than we ever have. I've lost 40 pounds. Melanie here has lost 15. we have the energy at the end of the day to give our kids all that they want, playing out in the yard, not feeling tired at the end of the day. And not only have we gained that physical energy and lost the weight that I personally needed to lose, we also have gained financially because to this date we've paid off $14,000 in debt. We're averaging $3,000 a month, which goes a long ways towards being able to be reinvested, as Melanie said, back into our family, where we can do things without our checking account dictating what we can and cannot do. And we're so thankful that we said yes to AdvoCare.
All right, so I said this at the beginning, so let's bring it back around. This is about you. And so my question to you is, where will you be in 2 to 5 years? But even more than that, is it the same answer that you would have given, 2 to 5 years ago? And if so, what are you going to do right now to make sure that in 2 to 5 years you're actually doing that thing that you want to be doing? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And so money, we talk about money a lot in AdvoCare, and it's important, I think, to point out that money is neutral, all right? Money makes you more of who you are. So if you're a great person, money is going to fuel your desire, and it's going to fuel your passion and your vision and your ministry and your giving. My husband and I take a lot of joy in the fact that we were able to give more to our church last year than we gave the entire first 15 years of our marriage. That makes a big difference, you guys, a big difference. So where will you be in 2 to 5 years? And what would $500 a month do for you? $500 a month for the average American family will get their house out of foreclosure, guys. That's real. That is a real statistic. And whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, there is somebody in your life right now that is struggling with that is going to bed every night mortified, and you have no idea, because I'm telling you right now, nobody knew in my life. Nobody knew. Because when you're going through that, we don't want people to know. We hide. But because I asked my friend Brooks about a 24-day challenge because I needed to lose weight, because I said, Brooks, what are you doing on that 24-day challenge? How much is it? And Brooks had the thoughtfulness to say, you know what, Mary Alice, I just know I feel great. Let me introduce you to my friend Angela. And I got on the phone with Angela Pinnell, and I said, Angela, I want to do the 24-day challenge. How much is it? Knowing that I probably couldn't afford it. And when she told me the cost of the 24-day challenge, I said, Angela, I really want to do it. It sounds great, but I just can't afford it. And that's when Angela said to me, all right, then, we need to talk about the opportunity. Oh, boy, you guys, I said, nope, nope, nope. I don't want anything to do with that. I've done one of those things before, and I don't want to do them again. But thankfully, Angela was persistent with me, and she stayed in my life, and Brooke stayed in my life. And I did hear about the opportunity, and I did see how it could change my circumstances. And I did get 30 people on product before I could ever afford to take product myself. That's a fact. And my friends did get great results, and then I got on the products, and I lost 7 pounds, 13 inches, and 4 dress sizes in 24 days, and I saw my life begin to change, and I got my house out of foreclosure, and the snowball began to build and build and build and build, and it's still building today to the point that 3 little boys are coming home from Africa. So, guys, I just want to ask you to dream a little bit. Right now, you might just be wanting to feel better. Right now, you might just be wanting to lose a little bit of weight. Right now, you might be just needing to earn $500 a month. All of those things are great. They're wonderful. But give yourself permission to dream. What if? If I wasn't so tired all the time, what could I do? If I could just get this weight off, what would that mean to my life? If money wasn't an option, what in the world could I do with my time? Guys, those were powerful questions, and I really want to encourage you to ask those questions, because I truly believe that AdvoCare can be the solution for you in those areas. And so I want to bring you back to the 4 relationships. If you desire to get started on product and you don't mind paying full price, you will get amazing results and amazing coaching as a retail customer. If you don't want to pay full price but you just want to get started on products, you can become a wholesale customer. You sign up for $79 with the person who's helping you, and you get started with a discount. When people start asking you, though, let me tell you right now, you can tell them, you can introduce them to the person who's helping you, and you're going to start to see some checks come, and you're going to like that. That mailbox money is fun because pretty quickly that can start to pay for your product habit, okay? But if you're like me, if you're where I was 3 years ago and you have walked into the restaurant tonight and you are starving absolutely to death, I mean, if you don't get the full course meal with the dessert and there's something, on fire at your table, then you're going to starve to death. That was where I was 3 years ago. And so Business Advisor was all I could see. I had no money, but I had all the desire in the world. And so we got to Advisor in 3 days, and that's what changed our life. So wherever you fall, make sure you get back with the person tonight and let them know, because they're going to want to help you guys. Let me tell you something right now. If you're listening to this recorded, this does not apply to you more than likely, but those of you listening live, I'll tell you right now that our pay period closes out tomorrow night at midnight. There is no better time to get to Advisor than on the close of the pay period, and the reason is because you wake up on Wednesday morning a fully qualified advisor, ready to run for that bonus, ready to run for that trip, earning income all 5 ways. So get back with the person who's helping you and let them know what you see. Now, I'll tell you right now, the best way to reach Advisor is to get straight there. All right? It's a $3,000 retail order of product. You're going to get that product at a 30% discount, which means that you've just invested $2,100 in AdvoCare products of your choice. You can either stock your pantry, you can turn around and sell that product. We've had that happen before the boxes ever arrived. The product was sold. You can sample some of that product out, whatever you want to do. But you are purchasing a $3,000 retail order for about a $2,100 investment. That means you have a $900 savings or a $900 profit built right in. Now, if that's impossible for you, and understand there's a difference between can't and won't. If this is truly a can't, know that there are ways to work your way to Advisor. My only advice is get there as quickly as you can. Don't drag it out. You want to get to the Advisor level as quickly as you possibly can. Now, the best part about Advisor is that it's 100% satisfaction guaranteed for a full year. Okay? What this means is that you can test drive a business for a full year before you decide if it's for you or not. You get to the Advisor level. If after 1 year you haven't either consumed all of your product and gotten great results, sold all of your product and made all your money back, then you can send everything back that's been unopened and unused, resign from your membership, and AdvoCare will send you your money back. No harm, no foul, no questions asked. Guys, this is truly 100% risk-free. So I want to encourage you guys tonight, obviously, be a champion, right? Be an ardent defender of a cause, whether it's your own or whether it's the causes of those in your life that you love and care about. Listen to this tonight, not only for yourself, but for the people in your life that you love and that you care about. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you don't like the way things are now and you don't like what you see in the future, do something different. And I promise you, you'll get a different result. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope that this blessed you, and I look forward to talking with you all soon. Bye-bye.